Welcome to Spelunkers, a place for exploring video games and nerd culture. This is the game exploration show where we break games into digestible chunks, play through them together with the community, and discuss them in exhaustive detail. You see how I very carefully said
So
those
good.
words.
So good.
The correct
made it through.
intro. It was beautiful.
Woohoo! That's it, everybody. We did it.
Yeah, the show's over. Thanks. Plugs? No. I'm Chris. I'm joined by Ryan.
Just for all the audio listeners, I could see the beads of sweat forming on Chris's forehead.
I like the ones from eating the ghost pepper.
Yeah, I will not buy those ghost peppers again. They weren't that hot. I need to find where the hot ones are. And I'm also joined by Tom. How's it going, Tom?
Oh, yeah, that's me. I'm the other disembodied voice audio.
And
I'm
we
here.
might be joined by Tyler later. We'll see if he jumps in here.
He really hates the game, so he didn't want to talk about it.
Just hates
Absolutely.
it so
He's
much.
Yeah.
He bought it, the physical copy, literally took the disc out and just pooped right on it.
Yeah, that
Took
was
a
on our
picture of
Twitch
it.
stream. You guys should go check it out. So the original plan was to do 3 episodes for Nioh 2. We were gonna have one in the middle, but there's not a ton to talk about because this game, it's kind of story heavy, but the story is not very good or interesting to us anyways. I know people out there can disagree with us. That's fine. So we decided to just lump all the last 13 missions, I don't know, however many missions into one episode here. Everything beyond the 7th mission, basically, is what we're going to be talking about here. So if you don't want spoilers, there's not really spoilers for this game. I guess bosses are spoilers, but without seeing pictures of them, we're not going to spoil them for you anyway. All right, so Ryan, to start us off, where do you sit on this game as a whole?
As a whole, I really came around in the last 2/3 of the game, maybe even more like the last half. Started to grow into some of those things. Was a little bit complainy about in the first episode. It's not my favorite Souls-like, but it is certainly not my least favorite Souls-like.
What's your least favorite Souls-like?
So I went back in between recordings and played a little bit more of Surge 2 to see if my first or second opinion was right. And my first opinion was right. I enjoy Nioh 2 more than Surge 2. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely hard to go back to a game like that, though, and just play for like an hour to see how it holds up or whatever. That's a game that, like Nioh 2 evolves over the course of the playthrough, and I think you really have to get into any Souls-like before you can be like, I like this one or I like that one. But I agree with you, so I'll take it. Tom, what did you think of this game? I know you like the Surge 2 more. You can talk about how great the Surge 2 is instead if you want.
No, I already said that. No, I like this game. I like it more than Bloodborne. So suck that.
That's the hottest take on this podcast tonight, folks.
That's not like it's new information.
No.
No, I enjoy it. I was having a lot of fun. There's a lot. I only played a few of the end game mechanics, but I feel like if I would have played this when it came out, I probably would have put a lot more into the end game because I didn't play any DLC. But from what I had played just for the regular game at end game, you can start defining your character a little more, and there's a couple fun mechanics that they add. That stone thing's pretty weird, but
Yeah,
I don't know if I ever looked at the item I actually got because I actually charged it up. I never went up to the next difficulty. It's kind of like where I just stopped.
Yeah, I didn't do any of the Stone of Penance stuff, even though I went through the one difficulty higher. I'm with you that I probably would have gotten more into the post-game stuff if I'd played it at launch, but that's mostly because there was less at launch. There's like 5 difficulties to go through now, plus all the DLC and everything. At launch, it was just the base game and 1 difficulty, and then each of the DLCs added another one. So I could see it being something that I would have come back to, but just having 5 difficulties to play through before you can reach the underworld content, which is like the true post game, that's a lot. It's a big undertaking. Although you don't have to do all the missions to like unlock the next difficulty. You have to do, I think it's 14, any 14 missions you want, and then the final, like actual final mission, fighting Otake-maru, I think his name is. The big bad.
Tokimochi.
Yeah, Tokimochi. Yeah, so let's jump right in. I'll say I like this game a lot. It is It's somewhere in the middle with like FromSoft's games, honestly. Like it's not I don't like as much as Bloodborne, probably not as much as Dark Souls 3 or Dark Souls 2, but I don't know, it's up there. Like it's in the FromSoft pantheon for me. Like it breaks that surface, I guess.
What do you think
for a lot
about
of
the
people
more
nothing
like
does.
selectable mission approach over the just kind of open get fucking lost approach?
I think if this was like my first Souls like, I would have loved that and probably bounced off of Dark Souls, because my biggest thing when I started Dark Souls was I feel lost as hell. And since I'm afraid to go around any corner because any corner can kill me,
Hmm.
I'm just kind of terrified, frozen in place. Where this, like, you have a selectable area to go. It's not, it feels more confined, more linear. And like there's a little compass with a general direction you should be heading.
You
So
can
even if
still
I
get lost in levels.
ass whooped, yeah, you can still get lost, but like I would feel like I'm making some sort of progress because I know where I'm going, even if I die and I start back at
Sure.
the beginning. Like, okay, I know the general path I need to take again, and I know what to expect there. Where I think I lose that in a Dark Souls game after like 8 hours, and I feel more comfortable with the controls and the enemies and my weapons. And I feel less likely to die around any given corner. But yeah, those opening hours would have been easier for me to stomach if this was like the first Souls like I touched, because of that mission structure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the mission structure. It's definitely different. I think I prefer like a Bloodborne, Dark Souls kind of open, wide linear, I guess is maybe how you would put it, the way Naughty Dog frames all their games, where it's not open world, but you know, you can explore and get lost and there's no like loading between levels or anything like that, which I would describe the levels of Nioh 2 as wide linear as well. There's still quite a bit of exploration. They're just separated between picking different missions. Uh, yeah, what is your guys' favorite mission from these? You don't have to know the name, just the boss or whatever.
Um, it's one of two, and one's for the boss fight. They're both really for the boss fight. It's either the boss fight with the guy that has like the angel wings, and then when he has angel wing, and then in dark space he has both wings. It's like the fourth mission or fifth mission after last checkpoint, or last stopping point, I think. Or it's the fight against Tokimochi. Wait, what's his real name? I already forgot again.
Tokichiro.
Tokichiro.
Tasty Toki mochi balls.
If only for that moment of while the three of us were playing that mission for my first time, we're going into the fight, and I was just, so why are we fighting him again? And Chris says, oh, because he betrayed and killed Nobunaga. I'm like, oh yeah, I know that name. That's right. Okay.
It's definitely a person.
They were in this game.
Yeah, I followed the narrative more or less, but it's not like an amazing narrative. So something that's very obvious in this game, and even more obvious when you delve in the DLC, where they're like going into the past and exploring more historical events. The studio has a great respect for Japanese history and a great knowledge of Japanese history, and they use that well in this game, I think. But without having that previous knowledge of Japanese history, I think it's hard to appreciate what they're doing here. Kind of like not knowing the lore in Souls games, it's hard to appreciate what the story's even saying because you don't know. You're like, okay, sure, things are happening, I guess, but I don't really understand why it matters. I think this is a little more straightforward than a Souls story typically, except for like Sekiro. Sekiro's a pretty straightforward story, but yeah, without that knowledge of Japanese history, a lot of it kind of goes over my head. Like there's so many proper nouns, so many names, so many places that just I don't recognize. Nobunaga I recognize because he's in a bunch of video games.
Yeah, you know what? And that's in typical Souls fashion. That makes me thinking about it now. Like I kind of do want to go watch like the history connections explained YouTube video that's an hour and 45 minutes long about all the ways Nioh 2 connects to real world history and its influences and whatnot, because that's super interesting stuff. You know, everyone loves going, well, not necessarily everyone, but a lot of people love going to Vati Vidya after they beat a Dark Souls game. Like, okay, what really happened here?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Tom, what was your favorite mission?
I think overall it was he's the warthog guy with all the freaking arrows and swords in his back, and that was like the busted down village, and you just kept kind of climbing up and over and left and right. It was on fire too, I believe. It was also when we finished that, I'm like, who the hell is this lady? like you were saying, there's like so many people that are introduced. Like I'd come across, all of a sudden there's this lady talking and she's not happy. I'm like, I don't know who she is.
Yeah.
But I really like how they go into like how he became that yokai. And he got when he was getting stabbed and everything, and then they just stayed with him, and he had just all those swords and arrows sticking out of his back. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, that one I did find. I tried to find yours, Ryan, but I could not find him in my notes. Katsuye was his name, and yeah, his wife like came running out, and so much happens off screen in this game as well. Like that guy was, or that lady was, somebody else's wife, or some. Yeah, she was married to someone else who died, and then she got married off screen to this guy, and then he died, and then she killed herself because both of her husbands, and then also her brother and her brother's wife all died, which is very sad. Obviously,
just join the fad, you know.
Jesus. Yeah, my favorite mission is probably Pervading Waters. I just really like the look of it. That's the one that's all like flooded. It was really early on, like I think third mission that we did in this chunk. Just reminded me of the drowned Hamlet or whatever from Bloodborne's DLC, which I adore. Best location, Souls.
Oh, the one with the upside down castle where it was all Castlevania Symphony,
yes,
it was pretty
that one's
cool
also
too.
amazing. Totally. Unfortunate that they make you like go backwards through there again, like
Yeah,
just reusing it for the very last mission too. The
Yep.
end of the game, the whole end of the game.
Start at the
it's
bottom
kinda
and you're
horrific.
going up. Yeah.
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 But let's talk about. Well, before we even jump into the first mission, there's a few things here. I said last episode that I did not think Dosan, who we did get confirmation later is your father, I did not think he was dead because we didn't see a body, but then like immediately there's a submission where you can go and find his ghost and he gives you his spirit. So that was immediately like, no, you're wrong. Dumbass.
That'll show you, Chris.
That'll show me making predictions. How dare I?
Fool. I know Tyler would like to make it a point that he knew that Toki Mochi Balls was evil.
Yeah.
He's not here, but
Yep, Tokichiro did turn out to be evil. He was just like greedy, I guess, but then the spirit overtook him. Spirit of
but then he's
Takemaru.
okay again. No, he's dead, but he's alive, but he's evil,
Oh
and
my
then
God,
he's okay, and then he's good, and I don't know why he's back, and then he walks on water because he's Jesus.
Yeah, we'll get into all that. If you're confused listening to this, we'll get into all that. It's a lot.
No, we're not going to set you straight at all. You're not going to be any less confused.
You're still going to be confused, but you're going to know what the words that are coming out of our mouths, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a bunch of submissions. I won't talk about them every time they come up, but starting here, there's a bunch of submissions you can do that are you can't use the Torii Gate for, but they're just like boss fights against people like Nobunaga. What's the Black Samurai's name? Yasuke?
Yasuke.
Yeah.
Yasuke.
And
did you watch the anime yet?
I did not. I put it on my watch list, but you know I don't watch things worth a damn.
You can't. Yeah, you can't be a very long watch list.
It is very long because there's a lot of things I'd like to watch. I just don't.
You just never get to it. It's only like, I think it's only like 5 episodes.
Okay.
It's fairly short for it, but I do recommend it. I know Tyler and I both watched it.
Yeah, so go watch that if you guys want more Yasuke content. You can. So if you do some of these submissions, you actually there's like a kind of a relationship you build with these characters. Not really like in game, like it's not like you have really deep conversations, but when you find them in missions later, they will like assist you. And if you don't, as we found out when Ryan tried to talk to Yasuke in a later mission, he's just like, I don't know, you fuck off.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
You gotta try and romance him, Ryan. That's why.
Another thing that I found out before we started here on the first mission was that you can reset your skill points at the dojo. You don't have to use the respec book. That's just for your stats, which was very useful because my magic was all kinds of fucked up. It was all spread out. Although by the end of our playtime here, I had more magic points than I knew what to do with because there's so many active skills and only so many slots for active, like jutsus.
Yeah, I know that Tyler and I both switched. Well, Tyler switched his weapon, I think, 4 times. He was using he was using the hatchets.
Mm-hmm.
Then he went to using the switchclave. Then he was using the split staff. Then I think he went back to the switchclave.
Yeah,
I think is what he still ended on. Yeah. I switched to just the big old axe. Coincidentally enough, after the Yasuke fight, because I was like, "Oh, that's fucking sweet."
Yeah.
So then I had I enjoyed the axe, and I know Tyler was enjoying it more. I think when he switched weapons, or
Yeah.
at least it seemed like it when I was playing with him.
Yeah, because I mean, with Switchblade, you also get access to magic. I don't think he was doing a whole lot of magic, but
No, I don't. I think he wanted to, and then I think he gave up and was like, "I need to beat this. Let's beat this."
Yeah, one of the biggest surprises for me was after I finished the game, I was like looking up builds because I was going to tackle a bunch of post game stuff, and I wanted to see what the best builds out there are. And people will just shit on freaking magic in this game. They'd say it's terrible, and I don't know. I dominated a lot of these bosses, so I don't. I mean, they say ninjutsu is stronger, and I did switch to ninjutsu in post game to test it out, and you can certainly get a lot more damage out of ninjutsu. I'll give them that, but Onmyo magic is not weak for sure. It like you can stand there and like assault a boss with spells, especially once you get awakening skills, which you guys should talk about what awakening skills you got for your weapons if you remember, if they were meaningful. But the awakening skill for Onmyo magic lets you cast it twice as fast, which is ridiculous. You can just really spam the shit out of spells.
I know what you're talking about.
The awakening.
What?
Did you guys go back to the dojo and do your weapons special
No.
objective? Okay, you didn't get awakening skills. It's fine.
No.
Most of them aren't
Didn't
that
need
huge of
'em.
a deal. Yeah, yeah, you're that good. Like I know the Kasarigama, the ninjutsu weapon. Like there's 2 awakening skills for every weapon, and like for magic and ninjutsu as well. And the Kasarigama is just like either the blade side of it does more damage and more key damage, or the like metal ball side of it. The Onmyo magic one's the only one that seemed like really substantial and important. Okay,
Take your word for it.
all that out of the way. The first mission here, Corpses in Ice. I don't really have a lot of notes on the way through this level. We fought this is the first time we saw that big gangly guy with the 2
Oh, with the 2 hat
cleavers,
big, like
yeah.
butcher. Yeah. That was like probably my favorite soul to use for a long time, just because I could do my combo with the axe and I do a lot of damage, and then I could use that to charge and push them forward, and my key would recharge, and I could go back into my combo. So it was a good way, especially for those dumb bitches that create all the little rocks that like to jump around. It's a good way to fucking corner them.
Yeah, because they're one of the few yokai that staggers the ladies with rocks. Or that staggers without breaking down their key all the way, I mean.
Yeah, when I saw you using that, Tom, I put on the first one I got, and it also healed me when it dealt damage. So it was a great favor.
Nice.
Yeah, a little bonus on it.
Yep.
Yeah, that and the later boss one, I think that we'll get to. I think those 2 were my favorite to use at the end half of this game.
Yeah, I was definitely using this one until I got Kasha a little later. The boss here, Magata.
Awesome.
Now
this is the
Taka.
one-armed guy, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
He's
He was
super
really cool
badass.
design. Mm-hmm.
Great design.
yeah. Looks remind me a lot of Orin immediately.
Yeah.
Just the one-armed big sword guy.
Except Oron actually had 2 arms. He just left the one in.
That's true. This guy.
One arm.
Yeah, but I think he grows the other arm back when you go into the like spirit realm, dark realm, whatever. When he activates his dark realm.
We beat the living piss out of
We
him. I don't
did.
even remember.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad I did a lot of these bosses, almost all of them, I think, solo at least once, just because I got to see a few more of their attacks, even though I mean, this game is not very hard, honestly. It's very hard to get started on, but I don't think it's nearly as hard as most, like, FromSoft games. You know, even by the end of most FromSoft games, I'm still struggling with bosses, and none of the late game bosses in this gave me trouble. Like, 2 DLC bosses gave me trouble, and that's about it. But yeah, he's got a lot of big AoE attacks, giant sword, very cool dude. You guys remember what his soul does that he gives you? I remember I tried to use it because I liked his design so much, but
I thought it was just. I thought he just gave us the mortal soul. I didn't. Because I was pissed
did he?
off.
Oh yeah,
Because I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I don't think we even got anything from him. And I think it was just a mortal soul.
that makes
Yeah,
sense.
that sounds right.
Yeah, I was angered. I was angered by it. I was angered.
You should be angered. Mission 8, bird in a cage. This is where we found spiders. Ryan, talk about spiders.
We don't have to.
You know what I'm mad? Did anyone ever get a soul from one of those things? I wanted a spider soul so bad, and I could not. And I even just tried fighting just the big one to get one to drop, and I could not So I'm wondering if there even was one. You got one?
Yeah.
Spits
didn't use
webs, right?
Why not? It's your spider.
Yeah.
The-
It's like
Have you ever
Diablo.
played-
You're gonna
have you-
wear the
Have you ever
spider
played
helmet.
Diablo 3?
no.
Oh man, yeah, isn't it the voodoo guy, the witch doctor?
He summons so
Yeah.
many spiders. It's the best.
Yeah, you can summon. Yeah, he's super fun. Aren't they jars of spiders?
Yes. Well, you're
He
throwing
throws them.
just tons and tons of jars of spiders all
Yes,
the time.
The spiders and all of his are really good. The spiders, the frogs.
Yeah.
The witch doctor is super fun in Diablo 3.
Yeah, he was the only summoning class, kind of summoning class before Necromancer. Necromancer's so fucking fun in Diablo 3. Anyways, we don't even talk about Diablo 3. We should, because it's a good game.
Just spiders.
Yeah, just spiders. So yeah, spider enemies, not really much to say. Some of them hang out on the ceilings like the Medusas before and then jump on your face.
Many though. I think there's only like 2. Even the Medusa one, they kind of just dropped down, and then they started. Hey, we're gonna start putting these monkeys in the trees and the little weird.
Yeah. Those
Guys,
monkeys in
and
the
they're just
trees got
gonna
me
fall
more
down.
often than anything else. More often than
Yeah.
the stuff on the ceiling. It's a little more obvious.
Which is funny because if you look, you can just totally see them too. It's like, why didn't I look up? And like,
Yeah.
I think I brought this up in the first episode. Like, yeah, you got to look up a lot because even the archers on buildings will just fuck your day up.
Totally.
Especially later when they start getting the cannons.
Yeah, this is also the mission where we first see the big rat yokai with a signature move that Ryan named. Ryan, what did you name his signature move?
The fart wheel.
It's beautiful. He does a little cartwheel. It's like a really slow cartwheel too. It's like somebody who doesn't know how to do a cartwheel trying real hard to do a cartwheel, and he just farts in the air while he's doing it. And it's great. And then you get a soul, and it's just your character like having a bellyache and then farting and leaving.
I don't
that
think I
stinky
ever
shit
got
everywhere.
one of their souls.
Oh really? That sucks.
And I killed many, many of them. I also didn't care for them. At first, they seemed easy, but then they just got really annoying towards the end. As
Yeah,
I
totally.
assume they just scaled up with your level. So
Yeah, they could be.
I was
I mean,
also under leveled for a good chunk of this whole. I don't think I was under leveled the entire time by at least 10 levels.
yeah, I was not. I did every side mission. I did everything, which is, I mean, part of why I was, not having a rough time at all with any part of the game. Would you say you had a rough time with anything, Tom, when you were playing solo?
There was one boss that was really pissing me off, but I don't remember who it was now. Once we get to it, maybe I'll remember. But yeah, there was one I was trying to do solo, and it was just not good.
Yeah.
Not having a good time. But then I beat him, and I was like, okay, fine now.
Yeah. Yeah. Brian, did any bosses give you trouble? I know you
No,
played them all
I'm-
co-op, right?
All except for the one that they make you do solo, and I
Sure.
had that first try with a couple elixirs left over. So
Oh, that's what the one was. It was the old man.
Yeah.
After you get Toki Mochi. Yeah, the old man kept just fucking my day up. Then I hired somebody that was like 141 to come with me, and I just let them do a bunch of damage till they died. Then I attacked them.
Yeah, it's interesting that they put. We'll talk about it when we get to it. But having a solo mission that late is really odd after they're all co-op. This is also the mission where people, you were talking about earlier, people start shooting you with rockets and catapults. Super annoying, can really just wreck your shit. I know we streamed this mission, and it was our first time through, and this was like the most failures I've had of any mission, probably, just because we didn't know about the rocket guys everywhere. We kept trying to take a path through the village that we shouldn't have, and pissing off every enemy, even when we told Ryan
And
to
we
not do
just started
that.
running. Don't do it, Ryan. I tried that. No, I'm not. It's good. I got it. Whee! Still, I don't think any of them were. What was the one? I think Ryan and I that we did with Tyler. There was one that we just like breezed through with us three, and then it was just like, why the fuck can we not get through this level? It had to have been like the second one after the checkpoint or something. Like it was really early on. It's like, oh my god,
No.
what is going on?
it was like, I don't know. Yeah, maybe it was. It was pretty early because there was a point where you, me, Chris had gotten way ahead.
Yeah.
Tom and I were all like on the same exact mission. And I think Tom and I did it, and then Tyler got home and joined us, and we redid that mission, and it took us like 6 tries.
Way longer. Like we didn't even make it to like the first shrine in the time it took us to beat the entire level. I think it was just like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, that
Not
was
saying that it was you, Tyler.
that was the one where you fight the first one where you fight a house where all the yokai, all the good yokai are turning evil.
Oh, yep. Yeah, it was the giant house fight. The first giant house, not the one with the fucking penises with eyeballs.
Stay tuned to hear more about penis
That's
eyeballs.
later. They're furry too. But yeah, I just remember that being like, oh, why is it taking us so long?
Yeah, so I did like the design of Bird in the Cage, how there were those multiple areas where you could choose to go down through fart caves, basically, or you could go through the village if you were willing to risk the cannons and stuff. Like making that choice between this is the kind of easy route, but it's long and it's got toxic swamps, you know, everybody's favorite FromSoft thing, Souls-like thing, I should say. Or you can go through the town and get shot at a lot. And if you know your way through, it's really easy to just go through the towns. But if you don't know your way through, you're probably going to die. It's great.
Yeah.
And this is the boss you were talking about, one of your favorite ones, Ryan. Azai Nagamasa. He's got one Tengu wing, and then when he goes into his Dark Realm, he gets a second one.
Was this the double-headed chicken? Isn't that his pet? It's like that double-headed fucking chicken thing that comes out?
I think so.
I think that's what it was. I was like, what the fuck?
Okay,
this
yeah,
looks like something
this is
straight
my
out of
favorite one then.
straight out of like Labyrinth or something, like a Jim Henson fucking Muppet. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, this guy's cool though. He like does a Dragoon from Final Fantasy style, like jump into the air and you can't see him, and then he'll slam down on you if you're not.
And he uses the one as a shield. I really like that. He uses the one wing as a shield.
Yeah. God, it looks so cool. This game's got great style. If nothing else, the style of this game is amazing and the look. Which is why I'm looking forward to that game I can't remember the name of. Ghostwire Tokyo. Yokai. Very cool.
Yep.
Yeah, he also has like weird water magic. I don't know if you guys even ran into that because we kind of pup stomped him, but he summons a bunch of pillars of water and stuff, which is cool, I guess. I had not switched to water magic yet, so I hadn't seen any of that. You can kind of do all the stuff you can do, except for the Dragoon jump. Maybe that's on the spear tree somewhere. I don't know.
Ryan, didn't you have spears?
I tried spear for like 3 missions and was like, no, I like my katana better, and just went right back.
I thought about it after doing the duel with the guy that's like just literally does that fucking like 20 hit spear thrust, and it was just like fucking you up, and then he starts you on fire. That was a cool duel. I like that guy too. I don't know what his name is, but he had a spear.
Yeah, we do get his 2-headed peacock spirit is what I wrote down. And then this was, I think, is this the second person that was possessed by the Otakemaru, who we just know as the man with the staff right now?
The old man that for the first couple times I thought was an old lady.
Yeah, until he started talking.
Yeah. I don't.
And that's kind of it for that mission. The Pervading Waters, we talked about a little bit. Flooded level. Very cool looking. This is the first mission where you run into the like weird monk guy with the big old tongue and the anime bulging eyes.
Oh yeah, that guy's cool. I liked his design.
Yeah, super sweet design, and he's fighting he's actually fighting the guy that turns into that boar boss later. And if you helped him, or in an earlier side mission where you got to choose between him and Aquaman, Jason Momoa, he'll help you on this mission, which will unlock more submissions later. Let me just get into this right now real quick. It is really annoying to unlock some of the submissions in this game. I don't recommend doing all the submissions because they're very annoying to unlock. Like, there is one where you have to use dual swords, get them up to 120,000 proficiency, and do the Awakening quest just to unlock a submission where you don't even have to use the dual swords. I don't know why you have to do that to unlock that submission. It's the only weapon they make you do that for. It makes no sense.
I mean, it's kind of neat, but yeah, if you're not like super into the game, it's just like, well, what the fuck?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't mind because I was using magic anyway, so I could just spam spells. I just had to go back to shrines more often to refill my spells, which isn't that big a deal. And I didn't find out until like mission 19 or something that there's an item I had in my inventory, which I had like 50 of at that point, called Sacred Brush, which refills 30% of your magics. That would have been really nice to know earlier.
Just gotta read in the menus.
You do. There are a lot of items. I still couldn't tell you what they do. There's so many freaking items in this game.
You know what's got a lot of items too? Fucking Cyberpunk. I'll tell you right now, I probably got like 50 different fucking edible items in my fucking inventory.
Oh
and
my
I've never
God.
used one of them. And it's just like fucking sprawling. I looked at it once. I'm like, I'm going to close that and not go back into that thing.
Yeah. Yeah, it like, I don't know, there is a way to do like, hey, you have a bunch of stuff to use. Like I think Monster Hunter does it really well where it slowly introduces it to you and makes it where like, oh, the specific monster, you're gonna want this specific item, you're gonna have to learn what all these different items do, and you're only bringing so many into a mission at a time in Monster Hunter. But like a game like this where it's just like, here's this item and this item and this item and this item. I hope you look in your inventory later and see what it does. You probably won't, but I hope you do, because maybe they're useful, but maybe they're not.
Yeah.
Because there's also
There's
a lot of stuff
that, like refuel, like the toolboxes, the ninja boxes. Like I never used any of these things anyway, so I was like,
yeah. Let's see what else is new in this mission. Nothing really, just the boss. This is I think it's the first mission, right, with 2 bosses. The first boss is another, it's weird, we get another Birdman right after, Saika Magoichi, because this is the mission where you're attacking the, like, I don't know, the Gunsman clan or whatever the hell. I don't know if you guys remember that cutscene before where they're
they had the
shooting
guys
down
with the pistols too.
Yeah. Yeah, so he's like flying up and shooting you and stuff. I like this boss a lot too. He's very cool.
Oh yeah, no, okay, yeah, I remember this has got the giant fucking bull spider at the end. Yeah, this guy was really cool. Sakai, I kept calling him because it's very close to whatever that was.
Super close.
But it's like Saika instead of Sakai. It's Saika instead of yeah. No, I really liked this guy too. I'm like, oh fuck, that's cool.
Yeah. He's like flying in the air and shooting you. He does weird flying grab attacks that are very hard to dodge. Humanoid
bird like drops bombs on you too, I think, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Fire bombs, little bastard.
Yeah, humanoid bosses in general in Souls-like games tend to be more fun than the like giant beasts, even though the giant beast designs are always really cool. And then when you exit this boss fight, it's weird because the first time you finish a boss and doesn't say mission complete, and then there's just like constant earthquakes and roaring that you can hear. That's setting up this next boss.
It was like very like low roar. Also, I remember doing this one too. Like I think we did it, or maybe I did this. I did this one by myself, and I did it with Tyler. And we had a lot more problems when I did it with Tyler when I did it by myself.
Yeah, Tyler's not here. Feel free to talk as much shit about Tyler.
I'm not talking shit about him. It's just because when you play, like we were both probably under leveled, and then everything is just harder because you're on co-op. So yeah, if you're not on par with the level and like know what the hell's going on, and at least not have a full party. Like if you had 3, it's probably not anything. But yeah, I remember this one took a while too.
Yeah, definitely this bull gave me a little bit of trouble. It's probably like 4 or 5 tries. He can really just like 2-shot you. At least me, I was very squishy at this point.
Oh, no, yeah. There was a lot of this is bullshit. I hate this game, I think, from Tyler. From like getting like one-shotted and like, how the fuck did he hit me? But I did, like, when I fought him by myself, I didn't know I could use this mechanic. But then when I fought him with Tyler, I dodged out of the way when he was charging me, and he got stuck in the wall, and you can just go and beat on him.
Oh.
I didn't do in single player because it's so hard to try and get around him in single player because he's just got so much range and he just jumps up and spins and then lands on you. But
I didn't know he got stuck in the wall either.
Yeah, because he got stuck and he was just like fucking, his back legs were wiggling, so I didn't notice until it was too late, and I only got a couple hits in. But
yeah, his back legs, you do want to break those so that it basically just puts him into whatever you want to call it, a state where he can be visceraled one time.
Yeah, they got those little markers on, like how Ryan didn't notice on the giant spider boss from East, where you could target the legs.
Yeah.
See which one you're supposed to hit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this guy's name is Gyuki. And he's really weird. He got like a big boar head. He's got weird insect legs. Not quite spider because he's only got like 4 or 6, something like that. But yeah, he looks very spidery anyways. Yeah, massive sweep attacks. Very cool boss fight. And then you find out that Hanbei has died. What's her face? Mumio jumps down to tell you Hanbei is dead, and Ryan asked, "Who's that?"
And you're like, "Yeah, who the fuck is Hanbei?"
Even right now, I'm like, "Who again? Who is?"
I don't know.
The sick guy who gave you the goat spirits.
Right.
I still don't know who he is, but I remember the goat spirit
That's
because
the
he's
one
funny.
Mumio spit on, right?
No.
She went to like, oh no,
Mumio spit on the tea
oh
guy.
yeah, not
We haven't
yeah,
met him yet.
tea guy.
Oh yeah, Chris's favorite cutscene.
It's not my favorite. I just think it's funny.
Whatever. That's the only one that you chimed in and was like, oh, this is the best cutscene.
Well, all the
ever.
other cutscenes are just badass, and we all already know it. I gotta tell you that one's funny. That's how you know it's funny, because I have to tell you that it's funny.
But you told us before anything even happened, so we're all like, why is this Chris's favorite? Oh, and then she spits it on him.
Yeah, just like when women spit.
I assume that's why it's your favorite, is because there's a little bit of comedy, and then he like shoves the fucking his tea over to the goat.
Yeah, it's very funny. I like it. Let's move on to the next mission, the Frenzied Blade. I believe this is the one. So yeah, this is the one where you fight Kasha. The one where this has a very cool cutscene at the beginning that I like a lot. It's not like badass or anything, but it's just Nobunaga walking up to his wife, and they have like a really, I don't know, really emotional. I don't know, emotional for Nobunaga, I guess, cutscene of like, you know, him expressing, you will do whatever you want to do, even though he wanted her to leave and survive, but she refuses to leave and stays with him. And then he tells Yasuke to recover his corpse, which comes back in a submission later. And that's also why Yasuke is like right outside. So yeah, this is very similar to like, I think it was the second mission we did, just a big old place that's on fire, lots of kicking down water barrels.
Yep.
This is the first mission, if you haven't done submissions, where you see the flame wheels, which is interesting.
Those things will fuck you up. You're anywhere near them when they have to get up, it's just fucking dead. Fire in general just fucks your life in this game.
Yeah, even like really late in the game, like sometimes, you know, when they're doing the dash attack, you can see it coming, you can even burst counter it, but sometimes they're just like are slowly rolling into you, and it doesn't seem like they're doing anything, but they're actually dealing like a quarter of your health each time they move forward an inch.
Yeah, if you don't catch that wheel, if you don't counter that wheel when they start rolling, it's like fuck. And then I get overzealous and I'm like, hit, and then they do that giant burst when they jump back up, and I'm like, fuck.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah, you have to kill the blue one specifically here to clear the blue fire. Puzzle? Not really, but the closest this game has to a puzzle. Video games in general, this is a weird diatribe, but like people call everything a puzzle in video games. There aren't very many video games with puzzles, guys.
Yeah, I don't think there was really any puzzles in this one.
No. And then we fight Kasha, Ryan's waifu.
Yes. Okay. I remember.
The weird kitty cat lady with the fucking dead people on her wheels.
Yeah. Yeah, she's very cool though. Like this boss fight is awesome. It's just this giant arena that she's running around on these weird wheels, leaving fire everywhere. She's got like a big fire whip that she's using on you. And then killing her and getting her spirit is the best part, because her spirit is the best spirit in the game. I use it for the entire rest of the game, and it just deals so much regular damage, so much key damage, even enemies that are resistant to fire, because it's like a big fire Beyblade is the best way I can describe it. That you send out.
Tops, Chris.
No, they're called Beyblades. Okay. Yeah, and it just completely wrecks. Like if it's a solo enemy, it'll completely wreck them, and if it's a group of enemies, it'll kind of bounce between them and deal decent AoE damage as well. So it was just really the only one that I needed. So I just kept that Mujin on the whole game, and then eventually you get a third slot. I'm not sure when it popped up because I just suddenly noticed it at some point, and I don't even remember what I put there. I kept just switching it out, but I never really used anything other than Kasha. What spirit cores were you guys using? I know you guys were using, I think his name's Mitsu something, whatever, the gangly guy you guys were using for a while.
Yeah, the stabby. Yeah, Stabby Boy and Kasha were the two I was running.
For the most part, it was the stabby guy, and then the boss we haven't fought yet, the two-torsoed man that spins in circles. Also another charge attack. And then I had, what did I have on the bottom? I think I had Grandma on the bottom just for fucking shits and giggles, but I never used her.
Okay, yeah, Ryan, you never got a Mujina in all your time?
Nope. No Mujinas. Yeah.
Yeah, Mujinas are the little like mimic chest guys. for the people at home, and they basically just make your other skills that you have on incredibly powerful, and they don't cost very much attunement to have on either. So
No.
definitely kept one of those in rotation. Yeah, you guys have anything else on this level? On Kasha? On Nobunaga? Because he doesn't really come back in any way after this.
No. I know you can hit her in the wheels and it does something because the little men that are on, there's like men that are stuck to her wheels and you can hit them from the side. It's kind of like her weak point, but not really in the same sense as like the glowing yellow area of weak points. Maybe it just stops the fire when she's rolling around for like 10 seconds, if that. But yeah, I like it. Also, she creeped me the fuck out.
Ryan, he's talking about your waifu, man.
It's fine. It's fine.
Okay. There's a side mission here I want to call out real quick because you get to go find Yasuke guarding Nobunaga's corpse, and you get his bear spirit, which is very cool. I like his bear a lot just because it's cool looking. I didn't end up using it much. I used I guess we should talk about spirits that we used. I used it was like an elk. It was like a lightning elk or something like that, lightning deer. Just because I was using a lot of lightning magic, and it gave plus 15% to lightning magic. And also, I think it was like extra anima from hitting with magic or something like that, which is obviously great. I had Kasha all the time to use, so. You guys remember what spirit you used? Did you change it?
No, I didn't change it. I did add mermaid, Medusa? Something like that
Medusa?
as a second spirit that I could switch between for different skills, but I tried using those skills and I'm like, I like the other ones better, and I switched back and I
Yeah, the secondary spirit does give you one of their, like, every spirit has 5 passive things. The secondary spirit will give you one of them, which it'll specifically tell you which one, which is nice, I guess. That's really all I use it for. I didn't switch to it ever. I never had a need for anything other than Kasha.
I think I switched to the tiger, I think is what it was.
Nice. Yeah, I think that's from Nobunaga. You get it right before the gun forge.
Yeah, I would have switched to Yasuke's, but I didn't do that. I wanted his, but I never did the submission to get it. I just did the one where I dueled him.
Yeah. Understandable. So the next mission here, the sun sets on Mount Tenno. I need to read my notes because I don't remember what this mission is. What is the boss? Ryumen Sukuna.
Is that the boss I was talking about?
Yes. Okay. I remember what this mission is now.
This is torso, the ice and fire one.
Yeah. This is the mission where the guy goes crazy that there's a whole lot of political drama, whatever going on. This guy convinced another guy to attack Nobunaga, and he's also manipulating Tokichiro, and then Tokichiro comes out to be the bad guy, so on and so forth. We don't need to talk about all of it. But yeah, I don't think there was any. This is a big swampy level, which is annoying, at least at the beginning. You're running through a lot of swamps, and there's little skeleton guys popping out, which is always fun. No poison, though, at least. No poison swamps in this whole game, I don't think. Not that I can remember.
I never took antidote off my D-pad. So.
Yeah, it's so many freaking
never
spells.
Had to really use it aside from that fucking, third level with the Medusas?
Yeah, there's a few bosses. I think it's mostly DLC bosses, I guess, though, that do poison you, and it's very annoying. But yeah, I had so many spells on that it was hard to fit that. The only thing that I had on that was not a spell, a talisman, whatever, was a ninjutsu, just because I was trying to grind out a few ninjutsu points every once in a while, and it was just the one that makes you run slightly faster, so I would just use that every once in a while when I had a straightaway, because it literally lasts like 3 seconds. It's ridiculously useless. I did like the rice plantation that you go through in here. There's something very charming about like an old school rice plantation, even if it's filled with dead people here.
And then you got guys on different tiers just blasting your face off with rifles.
This is also the first time that so this is the first level where I did 2 things with these fake walls. That you can use an emote to just make them move out of your way, but I think it's a randomized what emote they want to see or something. Because I would always bow to them, and the first time I bowed to one, he moved out of the way. I was like, okay, you bowed to them, and they move. And then the next time I got to one, I bowed to him, and he got mad. And then I did a backflip because everybody likes backflips, and he got even madder and started killing me. But then I did a backflip for one later, and he liked it. So I don't know.
Once I found out you could do emotes, I probably did 3 or 4, but I never did one that was angry. I don't think. Maybe it just can't be that you can't repeat. I don't know.
Maybe, yeah. I don't know what the logic
I didn't
is.
do a backflip. I did a dance, and then that guy actually gave me his soul. Loved my dancing so much.
Wow.
Soul to soul.
Yep.
Yeah, this is also the first level where I pull the talisman off the back of one of those walls. If you get behind them, you can just pull a talisman off and they instantly die, which is funny. There's another part in this level that I like when you're crossing a bridge. Right after that rice plantation, there's like an area with 2 of those big monk guys that we talked about earlier with the bulging eyes and the red and blue like giant spirit stones. And Tom, I'm actually curious if you went straight through there or did you fall off to the right on the bridge?
We went underneath because I played this one co-op first, and I think it was just you and I that were doing it.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's right.
And I just followed you, and then when I played with Tyler, it was like, oh yeah, let's go down here and blow the stones up because these guys will be dead. I think he went straight into it the first time, and I'm like, why was this so fucking hard? And they're like, oh yeah, we can go drop down below and blow the crystals up.
Yeah, I never even attempted that fight. I just saw a path off to the side and was like, that looks better. This looks terrible over here. I don't know. But yeah, this is the first of many levels where there's like crystals that are kind of not reviving, but like keeping enemies alive. It heals them slowly and they're more powerful in the area. And a lot of enemies are linked to them like directly to the point that if you destroy the crystals, it'll just straight up kill the enemies and give you their Amrita. And those do not respawn either, because they're also forming Dark Realms, I think, which anything Dark Realm related doesn't respawn, obviously. And then we fight the boss, Ryumen Sukuna, the 2-element kind of statue guy. Kind of looks like a statue. Tom, how would you describe this guy?
Yeah, it's like a giant statue. One's ice, one's fire. And then there's the different colored crystals around, so you can get I think you can imbue your weapon. And then hit the, vice versa. Hit the ice guy with the fire. Even though it's pretty hard because he's just fucking spinning around the whole time anyway.
Yeah, I don't even think I don't notice that, honestly.
I mean, you can do it. It's not something you need to do. But it's possible.
Yeah, I fought this guy probably like 8 times or something because of all the freaking subquests. Not like in this boss fight. I beat him in one, but I probably fought him like 3 times total in this level because of playing co-op with y'all. And then he pops up in a lot of submissions later on. All the bosses, it's a very Monster Hunter in that way. If you're doing all the submissions, like all the bosses are going to show up several times. Even Otake I probably fought like 4 times.
Plus you get the level coming up where you get the weird boss rush of like 4 different bosses. It's like, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you could say like reusing assets or whatever, but I do think if you're doing the submissions, this game's way longer than any FromSoft game. So I think that's a part of it. And if you're not doing submissions, the only repeat bosses is that weird boss rush. And I think the game's probably about FromSoft length if you're just going straight through. Like how long? I know you didn't do a ton of submissions, either of you, really, right? How long do you guys know what your game time was?
Most of them.
I have no idea.
I'd have to look.
I can't look. I deleted the game.
Yeah, I meant to look before I deleted because I know I was at like 100 and something, but I don't know what exactly. I did a lot.
Beat and delete.
Like Tyler's prom night.
Let's see. Is there anything else interesting in this mission? See, there's a really weird jump cut after this boss because Tokichuro comes up, stabs Ryumen Sukuna. Or Toshimitsu, I guess, because he's not the boss anymore. Whatever, he stabs Toshimitsu, and Toshimitsu tells you to go defend his lord, Mitsuhide. And then there's like, you run away, and Tokichiro's sad. He's like, oh, are you really leaving me? And then there's this weird jump cut to you suddenly being in the woods, like about to kill Mitsuhide, it seems like. And then he tells you a story. And you do like this, you cut his hair and give him a terrible haircut, seemingly just for the drama of it, because you weren't going to kill him apparently, but you just, cut his hair. Why not?
Well, it's like getting rid of isn't that like getting rid of his fucking past or something? He cut the.
Oh, is that a thing?
He grew up
like
for so long, the top knot. He cut the top knot off. And
I don't know. That was probably more impactful knowing, I don't know, Japanese culture.
There is some significance to it. I don't remember what. But yeah.
Let's see. Next mission.
Now, is your
Ruined Drones
favorite-
Near.
It's your favorite cutscene, right?
Which cutscene?
Or is it?
Oh
do you mean, what
yeah.
cutscene?
No, I don't think that's yet.
Is that 2 missions away?
Yeah, that's 2 missions away. 2 missions away. Calm down, Tom. We'll talk about it. This mission is Ruin Draws Near. There's 2 bosses in this one again. Toshie, which is your spear buddy. This is the one where you're climbing up, and you fight the guy with the whatever giant tusk. But you also fight Toshie, your buddy with the spear that if you've done submissions, you fought with several times.
Yeah.
He's strangely both of the bosses in this mission gave me a little bit of trouble. I didn't die to either of them, but I ran out of heals on both of them. Especially Toshie is in a very small room, and I did not yet have the awakening skill for magic, so there was just no time to prep any magic because he was on me all the time.
I murdered him in this one because his key is so low or easily to drop. This is when I would do my combo and then use the soul to take him down, and then I could use the visceral attack and then just keep doing that. So if you got him in the corner, like he could not keep his key up at all or his stamina. Like you can totally bully this guy if you're just constantly attacking him with a normal weapon, not powders and pieces of paper.
Yeah, I also had not learned Cyclone yet at this point, which I used just constantly.
Okay.
Yeah,
So like the Luffy UFO move where you're like just spinning.
Yeah.
Fly up.
Yes, I did that constantly once I learned it because it is the best Switchblade move. It's amazing. Ryan, you remember either of these bosses? They stand out to you? Toshi. How do you guys say that, by the way? Toshii. I've been saying Toshie, but I don't know.
Sure.
I'm sure
I don't know,
we're
Google will
mispronouncing
tell you if you put it in Google.
No idea.
Google will tell me how to say it in English, so it's probably not even right. Anyway, who knows?
No, you can change it to Japanese. They'll tell you too.
Okay. Interesting.
You just have to hit the play. You have to do the audio one and press the play because I don't think you read kanji.
I totally read kanji. You don't know me. Ryan, nothing? These bosses are zeros for
I'm
you?
still having trouble recalling these fights.
That's just the long guy with the guy with the ponytail and spear, and he's got a firebird. And then you fight the giant warthog guy that's got the fucking smashy, and he like fucking just charges at you.
Warthog? No.
You don't
this
remember
is
the warthog?
Huge fucking tusks. He's got fucking a bunch of swords and arrows sticking out of his back.
So much fire. No.
I'll take your report. No, it's gone from my mind.
Yeah, I thought it was very fitting that this guy became like this big yokai boss because he was super duper racist against yokai. He fucking hates yokai so much. Ryan remembers.
Now I remember. I remember that now. Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, this guy's super cool. He's got a lot of like charging attacks, including like a charging grab. So a lot of times I would, block when he's charging, but then he has a charging grab that he throws in just to make sure you get fucked up anyway. This and Toshie were the first bosses to run me out of heals since like the first mission. Run me out of heals for the fight, obviously. I had like freaking 300 elixirs in my bank by the end of the game. It's absurd
like
how many you get.
Bad emo band name. Run me out of heals.
Run me out of heals. But yeah, you get a spirit and you see his little story, which is kind of nice. He, even though he hates yokai, he decided to like kind of turn himself into one, or he like, I don't know, he gives his soul up or whatever and becomes a yokai to save his wife specifically, who then, sees that he dies and kills herself anyway. So it's unfortunate. Nothing went the way they wanted to. This game's very tragic. It's too bad the scenes are not particularly resonant to make it feel tragic. Here we go. 2 Faces of Hospitality. The tea cutscene. The perfect tea cutscene. The only way it could have been more perfect is if the cup was Boltigeist. No? I know that's not going to do anything for Tom. Come on, Ryan.
Tom just pinged me in Discord. Sorry, I was a little distracted. All I really heard was Poltergeist. So Tom ruined your joke without even knowing you were going to make it.
Fuck Bloodborne. I assume that's Bloodborne. I don't
No, no, Poltergeist is a Pokemon.
know. Okay. Same care level, I guess.
Fair. But yeah, he like hands tea to Mitsuhide, who's now like pretending to be some traveling monk or whatever while you're talking. He drinks it, totally fine, chill. Hands the cup back, says thank you for the great tea. And then he hands the tea to Mumio, and she tries to just like chug it and spits it up because it's nasty as fuck, or it's too hot, or whatever the hell, all over this old guy's face. And then he hands you tea. All the meanwhile, you're all having a conversation that's very important, I'm sure. But he hands you tea, and you just like kind of freak out and push it over to the cat spirit that's sitting beside you because you just saw what Mumio did. I think it's funny.
And the cat's like, fuck no.
Yeah, he's like, what? I don't want that. This guy's also got a giant.
I exhaled. I exhaled air out of my nose when I that scene.
That's peak comedy right there. Nose exhales. This is another level with giant cannon shooting at you. You also gather a couple of your allies, Hanzo and I don't remember who the other one is, but a couple of your allies from earlier in the game rejoin you here, which is cool. As you're fighting,
until later when you murder all of your allies.
It's true. It's true. Yeah, and also
Fuck you, Jason Momoa.
Right before the boss here, like they abandon you anyway. They're like, "Oh, something's happened back in some village. We have to go," and then they literally just stand there outside of the boss and do nothing. Cool chickens. This is the boss where we finally, or the fight where we finally take on Tokichuro here. The first time we take on Tokichuro.
He's a fucking pushover.
Yeah, with 3 people, especially, like all the human bosses are such pushovers.
Oh, I fought him by myself, and he was
really?
still a pushover.
Yeah, I fought him by myself. I got him second attempt because the first attempt I only had 2 heals, which was unfortunate.
Any of the actual like human people, I can just do my combo, and then the soul charge, and like their fucking key is just garbage, and then they can just keep visceraling.
Yeah, all the humans are definitely a lot easier. All the actual like legit humans, not humanoids necessarily, because if they have like the yokai's version of ki, whatever that's called, the purple bar, then they don't stagger unless you drain that, and if you do drain that, they'll refill it pretty shortly, so they're a lot harder for sure. I did like this fight though. He'll summon his monkey and his taper. His monkey will do dumb little scratch attacks chasing after you, and his taper will bring down a bunch of lightning strikes. I assume that's a taper, that like elephant looking thing. I don't know. I didn't look into it. Kind of looked like a taper though.
Yeah, I don't know. The monkey was more annoying just because it's just random. Like if he hits you the first time, then he just keeps jumping on you.
Something that did stand out to me about both times you fight him is he uses dual swords, and he can do like the combos and stuff that you learn with dual swords, which I knew because they forced me to use it for a while, including a counter where like just any attack you do, he could randomly decide to counter you and stab you in the face, which is great. So yeah, that's kind of it. You guys have anything on Tokichiro?
I mean, I think if we were more in tune with the story, this would be a more impactful moment. It's a fine fight. But I mean, my biggest memory is like, so why are we fighting him again? That's my biggest memory about this.
It does leave a nice cliffhanger though, because this is where we should have ended the episode that we recorded second, which would have been a good cliffhanger without us even knowing.
Yeah, it definitely would have been a good stopping point. Because you kill him, it's like Ryan was like, "So you're saying there's more missions after this? Because this feels like the end of the game."
Tyler was like that too when we went into it. He's like, "Wait, we can't be fighting him already. Just you wait."
That happens twice, ladies and gentlemen.
It happens again. Yes, it does happen again. Yeah, the evil spirits, Otakemaru, pops out of him, and then it's just like zooms in on his face, and his eyes open, and they're red. Which, yeah, would have been a great cliffhanger. Going into the next mission, the High-Spirited Demon, which is the one where you're going back through the same level, but you're going backwards, and everybody's evil. You get a cutscene of Jason Momoa and his animal, the Katsuie, or whatever it's called, going crazy.
Yeah. And then the fucking creepy turtle men.
Mhm.
Their monk haircuts.
Kappas.
Barf.
Barf. The music here is freaking insane, though. I think you called it out, Tom, when we were playing, or maybe I was just
Yeah,
listening
I
while you
mean,
guys were
the
playing.
whole, like, there's a lot of, in this second half, there's a lot of good music that starts popping up
Yeah.
for some of these fights, and it's just kicking. You're like, fuck yeah.
Oh yeah,
Murder
yeah.
people.
I still haven't looked to see if the soundtrack's on Spotify, but I have it in a list of
I would imagine
soundtracks to
most
listen to.
AAA ones are.
Yeah, unless it's Nintendo. Nintendo's the only one that never puts their soundtracks anywhere.
Fucking Nintendo. Nioh 2 original soundtrack is on Spotify.
Sweet.
Akihiro Manabe.
Yeah, I will definitely listen to that at work soon. Yeah, this one's got some more of those massive spirit crystals that are connected to enemies, but these ones like fight back a little bit. They kind of like do a
Yeah, they
weird
kinda
pulse thing.
push you. Yeah.
Yeah, that does
They
a
can
little
be
bit of
annoying.
damage.
Especially if you're trying to just bust it down in the midst of like a shit ton of people.
Yeah,
I think this is also another one that you, Ryan, you, Tyler, and I did, and we were just getting fucking manhandled. This is the one that you start and you got to go like down and back and forth, and then there's like the crystal up on top and the guys with the gun arms, and we kept going different ways. This is the first time you fight the Gilgamesh like guy.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This one definitely took us a hot fucking minute to beat.
Yeah, I think you guys were trying to kill Katsuie or whatever, the Tokichuro looking thing too, right? Which we
Well, we
completely
ended up
avoided when
doing
we
it, yeah.
played. You did end up
Yeah.
killing it? Nice.
Yeah.
I avoided it because I thought maybe it was like a thing of like, oh, he's gonna be good again, so I shouldn't kill him. Maybe Jason Momoa will thank me for not killing it. It was not a thing. It's not a thing.
No, he wants to murder you no matter what.
Yeah. Yeah, and you fight Jason Momoa on the bridge. You have to kill him, unfortunately. No more Jason Momoa after this. Well, that's not true. You meet him again in the interim, and you can do submissions for him and stuff if you want to. But that's not the end. This is another one with 2 bosses. Then a castle starts shooting lightning cannons at us while we're running through. This game is insane.
Mm-hmm.
I dig the kind of like Blood Moon aesthetic of this whole level, but it's especially evident in that big field where he's shooting you and you're working your way around the back way.
Mm-hmm.
Then we get to the boss, Daidara Bochi. It's a set
Hell House.
piece.
Yeah.
Yeah, his arms are all crystally. You have to attack them until you break all his fingers, and then he puts his arm down. And you can go stab him in a weird glowy spot that's maybe an eyeball that's on his shoulder. I don't know. It's not clear.
Which is very easy if you have the soul of the boss that we just fought with the
Yeah, the
two
spinny.
torsos, because you can just spin and take out like everything.
Yep.
Super really good on this fight.
Yeah, I mean,
And then
in
you do
general.
the X spin after that with what I had, and just fucking hold down the button and you just keep fucking going.
Oh yeah, spin to win, spin to win.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think I had Cyclone at this point as well, which is also very much a spin to win skill, which are always great in video games. And then Tokichuro murders the shit out of you here, which is pretty great. Just comes with his big old purple yokai horns, stabs you. You go to heaven? I guess it's not heaven, it's the interim, right? It's like what's the English term? The in-between? We have a term for it.
Purgatory.
Yeah. It's like purgatory. And you meet your dead mom. Oh my gosh, there's so many things happening. It would be a bigger deal again if the game has like a good story. I just don't think it has great writing for the story. It tells you all about Otakemaru, so on and so forth. You have to go reform the super sword. Go get the MacGuffins, basically, to form Sohayamaru, the legendary blade, so that you can seal this guy away again. All right,
Yeah.
Next mission, the Mausoleum of Evil. This is another really cool one. We talked about it a little bit earlier, where you're lowering the water by finding the dragon stones, putting them into the dragons.
Yeah.
And saying which one of your party members don't jump off and kill themselves.
Yeah, I felt bad playing this level with Tyler because like I was waiting for no, it's not because you jumped off. No, because we got the first dragon orb, right, and then we were all crossing back over to put the dragon orb in, and he got distracted by something shiny or something and ran off. And I put the dragon orb in. I put the dragon orb in, and he missed the water lowering and the inverted castle thing. And I was like, "Hey, isn't that cool? Inverted castle." He's like, "Oh, is that what's going on? Whatever." It's like it's kind of cool. But yeah, you lower the water a few times here. Destroy Spirit Stone, get a what do you get? You get an orb, whatever. Dragon orb, and you put it in and it lowers the water.
Yeah, did we ever test that theory? Because we all picked one up, but you only have to use one, and we all still had some because it wouldn't let me pick any up farther. Like we could have just ran to each statue and just dropped all the way down. Not that that matters, but
Yeah, I think that's accurate. I don't think we actually legitimately tested it, but
no, we didn't.
I think that is the case, and it wouldn't really be that big a deal because the statues are not too far from the crystals anyway. There's maybe like 4 enemies you could skip or something. But yeah, the boss here, Shuten Doji, big guy, fat mace, alcohol, drinks, spits fire at you.
This one I'm drawing a blank on.
He's got long golden hair. He whips his hair back and forth. We made a lot of jokes about it.
Now I know what you're talking about. The hair, what did it?
Yeah, I thought he.
I
think he's a
remember
whip.
like
I just kept saying ponytail whip from Bob's Burgers. Ponytail.
Oh my gosh.
Capoeira. Ha! Ponytail.
Oh man, you should. I don't know if you. I'm sure you have the chops for it. You should make a video of just like Tina's face on that guy. I'm sure you'd get so many clicks.
I'll just put her in the side doing that the butt dance working while he's doing it. And he just keeps doing it. We'll look into it.
But yeah, do you have anything, Ryan, on this boss or Tom?
it sticks out just because I remember really staring at that soul core and considering picking it up because like a nice cone of fire in front of you attack, that's always handy. I didn't wind up doing that, but like I remember it better than the last boss, I guess, because I remember it.
Yeah.
Well, I think the Warthog boss doesn't even give you it's another mortal soul one. You can't get anything from him.
Yeah.
Bullshit. I hate the ones that do that. It's like, come on. Good
Come
bosses.
on. Yeah.
Well, you can get the bull fucking spider who just sticks his fucking fat face out and like bites something and then goes away. That's fucking dumb.
Yeah. Yeah, I tried to use that because I thought, oh, that boss was hard. Surely his soul is amazing, but it's just fine. It does decent AoE, but it's no Kasha.
Straight garbage.
Garbage. One thing in this room, when you walk in, there's like 2 dead people here that are like have swords stuck in horns, kind of like the one that you seal Otakemaru with later. And then he like releases the 2 spirits. One of them is this guy. I've already lost his name. Whatever, alcohol drinking guy, Shuten Doji. And the other one's the house that we fight later. And then the third one that's sealed, obviously, is Otakemaru, who's already been unsealed. But if you play the DLCs, it's the second DLC. Like, the 2 main side characters in there are those 2 dead people, and you, like, go with them to the temple to seal away those spirits, which is very cool. Very cool little lore thing.
The lady house with the hairy-eyed penises.
Yeah, I think that's the next level. Which we're on
like
to
the
right now.
curious look on fucking Ryan's face. How do you not remember the giant penis snakes with fucking eyeballs?
I'll remember. You better find a picture, Tom, to put in.
Oh, I'll find it.
Yeah, just just Google like giant hairy penis snake though.
Yeah, I'm sure that'll
return good results. Oh, this is gonna be good then.
Let's see. So yeah, the Golden Castle is the next mission here. We also get confirmation that Dosan's our father, which I don't know. It was important, but
we did.
Yes. You talked to your mom.
Cool.
Get confirmation.
Right on.
It's true. It's true. I hope no actual Nioh 2 fans listen to this. They will hate us so fucking much. I love this game. I played 100 and something hours. I just don't care about the castle. Or the story. Castle. I just read the word castle and said castle. I didn't care about the castle. God damn it.
Castle.
All right, the Golden Castle. The T-Man did not last long. He had a great cutscene, and now you find him dead in a cage with a bunch of fucking spirit stone spikes stabbed through him. You get his whale spirit, though, which is cool. Just because it's fucking big. Whales are cool, guys, because they're big.
The sperm whale.
And yeah, this is the Golden Palace with the boss rush. There's a bunch of paintings you have to go into and fight the
I like
bosses
the
again.
level of it. I don't like the fucking boss rush.
Yeah, none of the bosses are too bad. Like I think they're slightly faster and have more health than the first time you fought them, but they're in really big rooms. You know, it's not as bad. Like you fight Anenra again as the first one, but it's not as bad as the submission we did shortly before, where you have to fight him in that tiny hallway. The fire tornado guy.
Yeah, he can be an asshole. You fight him more than once too, with some other things. Maybe there were submissions I was doing.
Yeah, I think you only fight him in the 2 missions, this one and the first one where you fight him, and then a ton of submissions. For sure. The second, so you fight Anenra, you have to fight him, he's the first painting. But the second painting, you get a choice. You can either fight the 2 horse face bosses, Gozuki and Mizuki, or you can fight the snake, Yatsu no Kami.
Oh, I definitely fought the snake.
That's,
I didn't even know there was a choice.
That's the better decision. It's the easier one to find.
The horse ones in a small area. Fuck that.
Yeah, both of them at the same time. I ended up doing both fights, and Gozuki and Mizuki was definitely way rougher. The snake boss is super easy at this point in the game in a big room like that with no poison or anything. It's like, whatever, you ain't shit. And then immediately after that, there's literally like 1 stairwell with 2 enemies or something. You fight Kasha in a painting. There's no choice on that one either. Any of these fights, any of these refights give you guys any trouble? It's just kind of like, I don't know. It feels like padding to this level.
Pissed me off more. It's like, yeah, it could have just been a straight up tower. It would have been straight. It would have been way cooler.
Yeah.
Like, I like the level design of it. I like how you're just going up and around and up and around.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm with you. I like the level design. I don't like the boss rush, especially like if you're doing the submissions, you fought all these bosses a bunch of times already. Like, we don't need to do it one more time. It's fine.
I didn't do those, and I still didn't want to do these fights. Well, that Enra guy, I think I've had to fight more than... So I definitely did more submissions where I fought him, but the other ones, I was okay not fighting again. Well, those horse guys, you fight a bunch too, I think. In some of the
yeah. Oh, yeah, they're in so many freaking missions. Like Mizuki especially, he's in a mission later, he's in a submission. Like, he's not even a boss in those missions. He's just like standing there. He was also in the first mission where we fought a house. He was like right outside of the boss fight for no reason. Speaking of, let's fight a house again. Lady Osakabe, which is apparently Tokichiro's wife, this hairy penis lady.
So we guess we know what Toki Mochi balls liked.
We know what he's into. He's into hentai.
Penises. Yeah, bring on the tentacles.
Yeah, I think this is a really cool boss fight, though. Go ahead.
It's really easy. Like,
no, go ahead, Tom.
It was really easy.
Yeah, I mean, it's another set piece fight, so it's not super difficult, but put it on the box. 100% more house fights than Final Fantasy VII.
That's true. Does have twice as many. Yeah, I think that was Tyler's joke. Sorry, Tyler, we're stealing the few good jokes you have in your repertoire.
He would want it to be on the podcast. That's why I made the joke.
But yeah, I really like this fight. I did lose it once because I came in here with no magic, which was most of my damage. But definitely whooped it on the second time. I like, it's basically 2 phases. The first phase, it's got the 2 tentacles up, and each time you kill one, it'll raise another. There's 4 tentacles total before it brings down its big eyeball, and you can really wail on that. And then the second time, it takes you to the Dark Realm, and you have to fight all 4 at the same time. Definitely scales up the difficulty quite a bit, especially playing solo. But Tom, you said you did the solo too, right?
Yep.
Didn't have any trouble? Nice. But you're so skilled. Oh my god, I'm so jealous.
But I just run at them and beat the piss out of them with my axe.
Yeah, when me and Ryan got to this fight, I had literally no magic and like 3 heals, but we still ended up getting through it. Wasn't that bad?
Yeah.
So then, gosh, I don't really understand why, but suddenly the dagger and the sword guard, which Mumio had given you in the previous mission, combined into the ancient sword, I guess because you're near a bunch of spirit stones. Doesn't really make sense. Just like, I mean, in the last mission, we didn't even talk about it.
We figured this out in like what, the first time we see Mumio? What's her name? Is that her name?
Yeah, Mumio. Yeah.
The first time we see her, it's like, oh, well, duh, put your dagger in her. And then we made sexual innuendo.
Yeah, we did that on the last episode. It's true.
We were correct.
It was just like, it was on the last mission as well, where we went into those old ruins and we saw, after we fought the drunk guy, we see
the fucking paintings or murals or whatever. Like, oh, we should do that. You guys fucking idiots.
Yeah.
It took you 50 years to figure that out or whatever it was.
Yeah, this game takes place over like 60 years or something too. It's insane. Let's see, the next mission. This mission's fucking rad. Just looks beautiful. Cherry blossom viewing in Daigo.
Yep.
You'll never believe it. There's a lot of cherry blossoms. And cherry blossoms, still fucking cool. Everybody use them. It's fine. They're fucking rad.
This is the one with the vines, right?
Yeah.
You gotta kind of like run up the trees and you gotta do something over here and then vines will grow out over here. This is the one with the fucking old man. The double fight at the end that fucking pissed me off.
Yeah, it's triple fight technically because he gets a second health bar again.
Yeah. Yeah, and the first, well, we'll get there.
Yeah, it's a great level because of the cherry blossoms, but then also like the first time that you destroy one of those stones, it's kind of like keeping the level from growing. You get to actually watch the level grow out in front of you, which is just super cool visually to look at.
Mm-hmm.
Also Tokichuro, like, did you guys read any of the preambles to these missions, or are you just like playing through them? Because a lot of the lore is there, but it doesn't matter.
There's that dance with the fucking girl from the bathhouse at the beginning of this one.
Yep. Who you? By the way, if you are not doing submissions, you have never met this lady that is suddenly helping you for no reason.
I met her once, but I still don't know what the fuck she was doing there because she was in a bathhouse and we just opened the cell for her.
Yeah, if you do all of her missions, you like help her find her sister who became Akasha spirit, and then you kill her sister, and she likes that. I guess she's into it.
And you can romance her. There you go.
Yeah, that scene actually is cool too. Her doing her dance, and then she pulls out her sword and she cuts open the banner behind her to reveal you. And I loved watching Ryan stream that because his character is hideous. Here are our main characters. Oops, this one, yeah.
This one fell down, hit the ugly tree, and broke every fucking branch on the way down.
I want my characters to be so bad that developers question putting in character creators.
It's quite the mission. Quite the mission. But yeah, in the like preamble to this mission, it says that Tokichiro is like gathering women from all across the country to come view the best cherry blossom party ever thrown or whatever. It basically sounds like he's kidnapping all the women of the realm, which is disturbing as hell. And then they're all like freaking demons anyway. They're all Medusas. He didn't kidnap anybody. He just like pretend to be a lady so I can pretend I'm popular, please.
Back to the hentai again with the little tentacles.
Yeah, it's true. Music in this level is also great. A lot of great music in the back half. Definitely recommend listening to the soundtrack for sure. A lot of the map music is really good too. I haven't called it out every time, but yeah, and then we fight the boss, unless you guys have anything else in this level. I guess you fight the 7 generals or whatever.
Yeah, those guys are actually pretty neat. They all got different like kind of helmets.
Yeah.
And none of them are hard, but it's like the first one I saw is just like a giant pyramid head. I was like, what the fuck is going on
he's got
with
like
this guy?
a big stone plate on the back of his helmet. He's very funny looking. Speaking of funny helmets, Tokichiro has like a big golden peacock helmet, which I don't think you can get. Maybe you can.
Yeah,
I didn't get it.
Yeah, the one with all the rays coming out of the front. Yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I think I got it from that fight, honestly. I got it.
Well, maybe I did have it
after that mission.
And then he calls himself Hideyoshi, which that again felt like it should have been a really big moment because, you know, we talked about on the first episode, you and him together are Hideyoshi, but now he's like adopted the name for just himself because he doesn't care about you anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But it falls a little flat again because writing is hard. He's very similar to the first time you fight him, just way bigger like AoE attacks. He can fire like rapid fire shockwave attacks. He still has 2 swords, but every time he like sweeps, he leaves a bunch of fire everywhere. He can definitely kill you very, very fast, and he still has that dual sword counter attack, which is super annoying. But you can also, I don't know, just skirt around him. You can do it the same way you've done every fight in the game, you know. And that's maybe, I mean, that's maybe like a Souls-like thing in general. Is like the strategy for most fights is the same. It's not like you're specifically strategizing unless you're like changing your build out. There was one situation in a DLC where I had to change my build a little bit to get through it. But for the most part, it's like, yeah, dodge to their left or the right or whatever, and then wail on them, and you'll get through. Okay, and then you cut off his horns, which is a cool scene. You get his taper spirits, and then the old man pops out of him, Tokichuro, which I think he's called Kashin Koji right now. I have it written down here for some reason. I don't think that name ever comes up again, but whatever. And he says, "You will not kill me today." And he starts using a bunch of shadow attacks and poison attacks, and he can make seven clones of himself that, if you ignore them, can really fuck you up, because they're also firing off these like huge AoE attacks. But for the most part, he's pretty easy. And I had the cyclone, so like as soon as he started summoning guys, I would just run up to him, do a cyclone, and they'd all die.
I would just use that boss soul and just spin at him and take them all out one run. The first phase of him is not bad. It's the second phase that was just like, he just one hit me, and I'm like, this is ridiculous.
Oh shit.
His lightning attack would just straight kill you even if I had full life. He killed me once with that sword one, but that one was easy, where he just got like 50 swords flying down on you, and you got to keep rolling or getting away. But it's nice though that if you do die, you don't have to do the Toki Mochi balls fight again.
Yes. Yeah. I died against him once, and it does skip over that fight, which is very nice.
I died to him many times. Many times.
Yeah, give me
where I was just gonna be like, fuck this, I don't need to finish this game. I'm close enough.
I mean, that should have been the last boss of the game.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you said, he cuts up with the second health bar, and in this one it's all Dark Realm, but it is like a much smaller health bar. He definitely doesn't. He has like a third of the amount of the HP or something. He goes down pretty quickly if you're able to wail on him. And yeah, I've written here, boy, this feels very much like the end of the game. Where could they go from here?
Yeah. I was definitely expecting credits.
Yeah, if I didn't have the mission list pulled up like while I was playing, I would have been like, oh, cool, I finished the game, great.
But you didn't.
Nope, did not finish the game. You go talk to your mom again. She says it's your destiny to fight Otakemaru, which we literally just did. We fought Otakemaru. We're done. Destiny fulfilled. But then she walks across the water. A lot of people walking across the water like Jesus in this, and goes with your dad to heaven, I guess. Sure. Then, this mission's gonna take a long time to talk about, guys. Sealed Fate. It's a cutscene. You stab a horn. You fall asleep for a lot of years. I didn't write down how many.
Many. Long enough for fucking William to show up.
Yeah, you get a cutscene of like the very beginning of the first game, Nioh showing up on the shores of Japan in the year 1600, and then when you wake up, it's actually in the year 1616 now. So it's 16 years after the beginning of Nioh 1. I don't know how long Nioh 1 is in terms of year span. And I do have it written here, you're asleep for 18 years. And Mumio has not aged, by the way, in this entire fucking game. Everybody else is aging, not Mumio. She's still the exact same. And you're the exact same, but you're half yokai, so it's fine.
Maybe she's half a yokai and they just never told us.
Oh, Nioh 3, baby.
The lower half is yokai.
Just you never know. Yeah.
Kind of trickling off into that hentai area again. Why isn't Tyler here to talk about his favorite parts?
His favorite genre of anything ever.
The One Piece hentai that's floating around.
Yeah, can we be honest? Tyler's looked at some One Piece hentai in his life. Come on.
Gum come.
Anyways, we immediately roll into the Blue-Eyed Samurai, which is just that boss fight we were talking about earlier against William. Which this one you do have to do solo. This is the one solo main mission in the entire game, which is a little odd, but it's not very difficult.
No, it's easy.
Yeah, Ryan one-shot it. I think Tyler did it in like 3. I one-shot it. Did you one-shot it, Tom? Yeah. Yeah, it's not too bad at all.
I'm sure Tyler was incredibly underleveled.
Yeah.
He was just getting like basically carried.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, I mean, the fact that he managed to do it pretty damn underleveled is impressive.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's still a cool fight. It's cool to fight the protagonist of the first game. Like when I first saw William, I was like, oh, that's cool. I don't really remember the first game that well. I'm not really that attached to William, but it's cool that they brought him in, kind of, I guess. But then the story here just completely falls. I have no idea what happens in this last part of the game. There's like a Spanish lady that you're chasing because William's trying to catch her, and she revives Tokichiro, but then Tokichiro is actually dead later. It's all a mess. Very confusing. Bullcrap. But that's all in this next mission. In the Eye of the Beholder, which is our final mission. Our final mission before we talk about some post credits, and I'll talk a little bit about a couple DLC bosses that I really like. So yeah, it's nice that you get to fight through the final mission with Mumio and William the whole time, except for the boss, because the boss is inside of your mind.
Like a mind fuck.
Yeah, this whole aesthetic is very cool. It's an aesthetic that you see quite a bit in the first game, but you don't see it all here with like a yokai and like lab chamber looking stuff. More like futuristic looking almost, but not really. It's not like, it's not Cyberpunk 2077, but some weird lab stuff, which is cool. But then we should talk about the boss. So this is after Takemaru has been revived and he tries to take over Tokichiro, but he gets in you instead, and then
he does.
And then it zooms in on your eyeballs, which that's a very cool shot when your character's losing it. Zooms in on your eyeball, and then it's just immediately in the fight. Ryan, you want to talk about this fight? I assume you remember this one, right?
I mean, it's the last one, right? That's
yeah, it is.
We think so.
I mean, it was a cool boss design. It was over quick. All these boss fights were over pretty quick, so I played them all in co-op. The soul was, it looked cool. I never tried it. We beat him down. We got our first, those mythic, the green rarity,
Divine.
That's what they're called. Got our first divine weapons, and I was like, oh cool, it looks exactly like the weapon I've loved using the entirety of this game. And I deleted it off my system.
Yeah, he's got kind of two phases. The first phase, you're fighting the different forms of the shiftling or whatever, the different yokai forms you can take on throughout the game. The brute form, the feral form, and the phantom form. And then the second phase, he's his own kind of thing that's kind of using all three at the same time. He's got a bunch of he's kind of like Ryan, you'll get this reference. He's kind of like Hoopa in its Dijon form, with all the arms off to the side that are floating in the air with swords.
Oh, I get that.
Yeah, Tom gets it. Never mind, Ryan, you don't get it. You don't get it the way Tom gets it.
I totally get it. It's one of the Digimon things, right?
Yeah. Actually, kind of.
Actually, yeah.
It does look very Digimon-y. But it's cool.
See? I did get it.
Yeah, this is the point when Tokichiro is alive for a little bit, kind of, and he didn't really do it when we were doing co-op because we did the fight so fast, but he'll like talk to you throughout the fight, and he'll send his monkey to try and help you and be like, oh, I'm gonna save you, I'm gonna get you out of here.
I did it solo and I still don't remember him doing anything.
Really? Weird. He sent his monkey to do the scratch attack and it did like 5 damage. It was pretty useless, but he tried to be helpful.
Saved the day.
Yep.
Yeah. So we talked about it a little bit. I don't remember if it was pre-recording or near the beginning, but it really felt like they were trying to tie up some kind of loose end from the first game with this ending, because that's basically the ending. Like, William catches his Spanish girl that he's been chasing, and then he goes home and you see him with his wife and child. And then Tokichiro walks into a lake and talks the monologues about his life or whatever. But I don't know, like it really felt like they were trying to clean something up that they missed from the first game or something, and not remembering the story from the first game and not having played the DLC from the first game. But it meant nothing to me. It was really just bizarre.
I didn't play the first game, so
yeah,
I was just confused. This whole last two, I was like, oh, I knew who William was because I knew what like who your character was in the first one. But that was the extent of it.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, you're probably in the same camp as me and Tyler, even though we played the first game. It's like, I remember William.
That's it.
Yeah. Because the first game, I mean, also didn't have like a super amazing story or anything. Like me and Tyler were both saying in the last episode, "Oh, Nobunaga's not gonna die because he was in the first game. He was totally there." And then it was just like he got revived as a zombie for one fight and then died again.
Perfect.
Yeah. Which I did look that up because I was like, "Oh, what? Nobunaga's actually dead? Where was he in the first game? I remember him being there." Credits, music, super great. You guys know what level you ended the game at? What hours? Any of that? I always write stats like that down.
I was 103-ish level. And I did not exactly write down the hours. I would guess somewhere around 35.
Nice.
Yeah, I didn't write down hours, but I was 117, I think, when I stopped. But I did at least 8 or 9 missions, I think, of endgame stuff where they switch all the enemies up and making them harder to get better divine items, stuff like that.
Yeah. I was level 130 at the end of the game. I think it was like 210 or something when I actually stopped, and levels were costing me 3 million XP or Emerita or whatever.
Drop in the bucket.
Yeah. I mean, the max level in this game after all the DLC is 750. So
I think you should
3
play
million is-
until you should play until you max that out.
No, I think I've
I
played
think we need to start a Patreon account. You pay, we'll make Chris play this game until he reaches 750.
Okay, the people are paying for it. Yeah, and my time was at 68 hours, which your time is surprisingly hard to find in this game. I don't blame you guys for not seeing it, because you have to pick load game from the main menu instead of continue to be able to see the time. It's not even in like they have a massive stat screen with a bunch of stats like how many of every enemy you've killed and stuff, but they don't list your playtime in there. It's only on the load screen.
The one stat all gamers really want. Come on.
Come on, seriously, what's wrong with games that don't have your freaking playtime available? It's ridiculous. Also, what's wrong with all these console makers that don't like put that as part of the system software? Like it was for the 3DS had it, but no other system ever has it. It's really bizarre.
I
All
don't
right,
have the answers.
so that's it for the main missions. Tom, you want to talk about the cool stuff in the post game, the progression systems?
I mean, that stone one was pretty cool. Like I put a good item in it, but then I completely forgot about it after I charged it up to even see what I got. And I know once you can take it out, or you can up it to the next difficulty level, which enemies just do more damage to you, to make it stronger and increase its rarity. I think for the second level. So I think the first one, it just increases its level. The second one increases its rarity and its level. And then after that, I'm sure it just keeps stacking on top of each other. But basically, they do damage to you, but it's just a bar you got to fill. So all you're doing is really killing and making your way through levels to charge that bar. I know at the beginning of the levels, you can use those rice bowls, I think, the divine rice bowls, to up your chances of getting divine items, which rarely they drop all the time anyway. In the most, I think, what did I say? It was like 3%. It boosts it.
Yeah,
So it really doesn't boost your percentage of getting them at all. But
yeah,
I don't know. I
the
like
most you can use is 10, and it's 2%, I think. But yeah, it's negligible because those things will drop like crazy anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can get plenty of green weapons and stuff to drop. And then just getting those sets for the abilities, you could really just crank the way you play up more. But yeah, being that I didn't really go beyond that, you could really start to shape your character more than you could throughout the actual game.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. It's end game content. I mean, a lot of end game content is that. I mean, fuck. Almost all of Destiny is end game content.
So. Yeah, I mean, like with the expansion that released today, right? They dropped out Forsaken, and they dropped out the like base campaign of Destiny 2 a long time ago, right? Like everything that's in the game right now is expansions, like end game kind of stuff, right? Which is weird.
I believe so.
Crazy.
I haven't gotten to play the new yet.
Yeah, because we're recording this friggin' podcast, gosh.
God damn it. Download it, but
yeah, but a little bit more on the post game. So you unlock Dream of the Strong right away, and you have to do like 16 missions we talked about earlier to get to the next like difficulty. So it goes Dream of the Samurai as your base difficulty, Dream of the Strong, Dream of the Demon, Dream of the Wise, and then Dream of the Nioh. And Dream of the Nioh is where you unlock the underworld, which is basically kind of it's a 108 floor trial, and I think you can save every so often during it. But it's basically just like rearranging the levels that you've played through and hiding things in them that you need to find in order to access bosses. There's nothing exclusive to it. There's no like bosses that you've never seen before or anything, unfortunately. So, or I guess fortunately, because I'm not going to do it. But unfortunately, if you worked your way to that expecting to get something new, it's just a lot of like recycled content, which is basically all of the post game outside of the DLC.
I do like how they rearrange the enemies in the levels though.
Yeah.
When you redo it, so you're not playing the same level. It's different enemies, different spots. A little harder, but
yeah,
I feel like that they move stuff around.
And they will rearrange it again on every new difficulty, because every new difficulty they added like with each DLC, so they'll add some of the DLC enemies in there each time. And they'll also start spawning curse enemies, starting with the Dream of the Demon, the third difficulty, who basically like you have to either burst counter them or grapple them, I think it is, in order to take off their curse, but it basically just makes them like more defense, more health, that kind of thing. Which the main reason why I dropped off of moving my way through the difficulties is because I busted through Dream of the Strong pretty quickly, made it to Dream of the Demon, and I found my first cursed enemy, and it took me like 2 minutes to kill it, and it was like just one of those old hags. I was like, this is not gonna work out. Sorry. I did get, I think it was like 12 million experience just from running that very first mission in Dream of the Demon, though, which is ridiculous. Numbers scale ridiculously high in this game if you want to go all the way to Dream of the Nioh. Let's see, we talked about Ochoko Cups. You also unlock, I don't know why this isn't a function for the entirety of the game. It's kind of annoying that it's not, honestly. The builds menu in your hut, which basically lets you like lock in a build with your current equipment and your current like jutsus that you have attached, your current stats, all that stuff. And then when you use a reincarnation book, and you level to go do something else, you can use another reincarnation book anytime to switch back to your exact build that you had before. And any extra Amrita that you gained, you'll have to level that build more or whatever. Which, I mean, that feels like something that should have been throughout the entire game. But also, I think maybe they just don't want to. They want to de-incentivize you from using books of reincarnation because they are rare and they get very expensive very quickly if you're buying them from the merchants. Talked about divine items. Divine items drop with like plus rarities, which is a very MMO like post game Destiny kind of thing. Does post game Destiny have like plus 5 whatever, that kind of thing, or is it just exotics?
It's not just exotics. You can exotics during the normal game, but there's a lot of stuff you can't get from only doing certain things. But they added artifacts now where you can each season or season pass has one, and you can up it how you want it, reset it, do that, and you can unlock other weird shit that way. Otherwise, everything's pretty much attainable unless it's specific to an endgame content raid or something.
Interesting.
But there's nothing like not that they can think of that's specific. Most of those are just added with the artifacts that you level up now for the season passes for end games.
Okay.
So you can do like plus to shotgun damage or plus to any of the enemy types, depending on which one is the main one for that season.
Cool. So divine weapons drop +1 to +4, and you can raise them up to +10 at the blacksmith. The blacksmith actually becomes very essential if you want to build it in a specific way. And I don't remember what they're called. There's another like grade of weapons above divine that you unlock at Dream of the Wise and Dream of the Nioh that I never got to.
But you will when the Patreon funds come.
Yeah, when the Patreon
along with that 118 level dungeon or whatever.
Yeah. I will totally clear the underworld, baby. I think that's kind of it for the post game, the big stuff in the post game. DLC, there's some cool stuff. The Kodamas have new hats and capes, first of all, very important.
Ooh.
Yeah, you should just look up a picture of those. They do recycle some bosses in the first DLC specifically. They recycle like 2 bosses that are from the first game, which is kind of disappointing. But all the rest of the bosses I think are new for the DLC. So a few bosses. If you're at home and you want to see some fucking rad looking bosses, you should look up Yoshitsune. It's like this 2-winged crow guy. The bird enemies in this game are really cool. But he's like this 2-winged bird guy that like jumps around on poles, throwing fucking daggers at you, just like raining daggers everywhere, and then starts jumping in lines, raining daggers. It's a very cool boss fight. You should just look it up visually. It's very awesome. And then Lightning Gods of Yomi was the one that gave me the most difficulty. It's also very cool looking visually, but it kicked my ass 4 times before I had to change my build up a little bit, put on some lightning stop talismans, which boost your lightning defense, and barrier talismans, most importantly, which prevent you from getting status effects, because paralysis in the DLC especially is really, really bad. Or not paralysis, but electrified, which is basically just like sloth, but not as bad, not quite as bad. Makes you move really slow. Impossible to kill bosses while you're electrified. And you'll never believe it, the Lightning Gods of Yomi electrifies you. Shocker. There's a side mission where you fight Ren Hayabusa, the ancestor of Ryu Hayabusa, the main character of Ninja Gaiden, which is very cool.
I don't know why they would put them in there.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where they got those rights. You find out Otakemaru is your uncle, actually, apparently, in the DLC, which is fun, I guess. There's one incredibly long submission. It was like an hour long of just fighting waves and waves and waves of enemies. It gave me like 12 million XP, and this is on Dream of the Samurai, so it is like the experience farming mission, but it was ludicrously hard. You fight like 10 different bosses over the course of it, including Otakemaru. And I think even after Otakemaru, you still fight William after that, which is weird because Otakemaru's way harder, but whatever. And I really enjoyed just like that gauntlet. If I could do the underworld, I would do the underworld because it sounds like a fun gauntlet, but I would need to grind for another 200 hours, so I think I'm good. Yeah, that's it for big things. There's tons of bosses and stuff in the DLC, but I'm the only one that did them, so we don't need to talk about all of them. Just look up Yoshitsune, especially, just visually. He's very cool. Yeah, I think that's it. All right. Ryan, give final thoughts. Give a score.
Sure. Yeah. Final thoughts. I'm really glad I stuck with it. Think if it weren't for this podcast, I would have fallen off pretty early. Citing the reasons I listed in the first recording. But sticking through it, I had a lot of fun. Overall, really positive experience. Like I said, not necessarily my favorite Souls-like game, but definitely not my least favorite. I give Nioh 2 an 8.25.
8.25. All right, Tom. Final thoughts?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I'm not like super into Souls-like games anyway. I definitely have not played all of them, but I definitely enjoyed it. I like the variety of the weapons you can choose from, even just off the gate. Made me want to make different builds, but it's a pain in the ass. Well, maybe not so much a pain in the ass in the end game. You could probably just do it and go back and do like the easy levels and just beat the living piss out of things to get your skill points, at least into something that would make the weapon manageable.
Yeah, because it definitely scales up your
fun.
skill proficiency that you get with your weapons a lot too in New Game Plus, so you can level weapons really fast.
Yeah, so then maybe it's not as bad. But no, I had a good time. Probably like 8.
Nice. Yeah, I love this game a lot. Like I said, it breaks through like the lower half of From Software's barrier or whatever. For me personally, I'd give it a 9. I really enjoy it. I would have kept playing if I had the 200 hours to spare, but God, there are so many games. So many fucking games.
Oh, I'm just getting a message right now. Hold on, let me. Tyler gives it a triangle. More importantly, an elbow triangle.
Elbow triangle, nice.
Yep.
What does that translate to out of 10?
I don't think anybody knows.
It looks kind of like a 4 if you add as an extra line, so maybe it's a 4 out of 10. That's pretty brutal, Tyler. Fuck.
I mean, 3. I would just go with the how many sides.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Try. Yeah.
Could at least like stepped it up to fucking octagon or something.
Yeah, man. Fix your tattoo for this game. Damn. All right. But that's it for Nioh 2. I think we all enjoyed it. None of our favorite game. I did I keep track of my top 10 lists, even like retroactively. I'll change them, and I think it did crack my top 10. I think I put it like number 9 or something for that year, or like it that much. But the story and the writing could be better. And they have a game coming out very soon, Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origins, which I'm sure is going to have a much better story. We all know from playing the demo and seeing the trailers. It'll be more memorable, at least, I think.
Sure.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to playing that for sure. I wish it wasn't releasing in March next to 15,000 other games, but it's fine.
You don't have to get it right away, Chris. You know that, right?
I am going to.
You can wait.
I am
no
very
one's on sale. More of us could get it.
That is my second most anticipated game of March. Which, I don't know. Is that a high bar? That's a pretty high bar for me. I have a lot of games I'm excited for in March.
Yeah.
Oh, you
how many
got
games
that
there are.
above Tiny Tina?
Triangle Strategy is probably the only one I'm more hyped for.
I did play the demo, the first battle of the demo for Triangle Strategy, just because I wanted to see, and it was a lot of fun. I just did the first battle.
Yeah, I think I did like 2 battles.
Then I turned it off. I'm like, okay, I'm definitely into this very Final Fantasy Tactics.
Yeah, for sure. Which, to whisper a little bit here, are we doing that? Is that official? Did we confirm that?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean,
Stay
if Tyler was here, he'd probably
tuned.
just shout it out.
Well,
But I
stay
don't know that
tuned for our next announcement of our next game club. By the
I
way,
think there's a 75% possibility that that's what it is.
Yeah. Probably Triangle Strategy. I think we're mostly in on that, but we'll let you guys know for sure in the Discord, where you can also leave your comments for these podcasts. I know nobody wanted to fucking talk about Nioh 2 after the first episode, which is fine. But hopefully you guys have something to say about Triangle Strategy, and I'll, as always, put those comments in the show. Let's do some plugs. Ryan, what do you got to plug?
Check out our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Spelunkers. A lot of streams, a lot of nights of the week. Pokemon on Tuesdays typically. Chris is streaming Wednesday nights in between celebrations right now. Wasted on Saturdays, something on Sunday. I know Tom's talked about maybe coming back through some midweek streams, but life is still up in the air.
Fucking life.
Yeah, pain in the ass. Yeah, but definitely something that should catch your eye one way or the other. So check us out there.
Hell yeah. Tom, you got anything you want to plug?
I mean, Wasted. We're doing Divinity 2 right now.
It's going swimmingly.
It's something. It is. I enjoy playing it, so I'm fine with it. But yeah, we definitely had to backtrack. We had to go back in time last week to hopefully further prepare us for the upcoming fight. But I'm having a good time with it. Can't wait. We're definitely not going to finish it before we start the next Wasted title. But
yeah, fair. It's a massive game.
Probably will keep playing it. Might be shifted to a different night, depending. But it won't be for Wasted, but we'll probably still play it.
Sweet. Yeah, also check us out on YouTube. If you're watching us on YouTube, subscribe right below. If you're listening to this on your favorite podcast app, we will have a link to the YouTube channel below. We appreciate you guys' support. And that's it. We'll be back.
You didn't even talk about Pokemon.
We don't gotta talk about Pokemon. Everybody knows about Pokemon. That show's blowing up. It's all over the internet. You've never seen
them all, or whatever it is, where you rate them based on if you wanted to fuck them or not.
No, that was my brother's idea. And actually, what's the Markiplier put out a video just like a week ago that was like
pass or smash or something.
Yeah, on every Pokemon, and he did not explain his logic. He just said pass and smash on every single one.
Well, you would think that like Weezing or something would be up. It's got the most holes, right?
I remember he said smash on Doug Trio, and I don't know why. I mean, it's kind of penis shaped, I guess.
You can hop from one to the other.
yeah, that's probably it. But yeah, we'll see you guys all in a few weeks. Probably won't be 2 weeks. It'll definitely probably be like 3 weeks at least before the next episode of this. But otherwise, yeah, listen to God Rank 'em On, where we are ranking all the Pokemon by all sorts of metrics, including if the guest wants how fuckable they are. It's up to them, really. They can
It's
talk
happened.
about it. It has to happen. It's true. Yeah, until then, we don't have a sign off, so fuck off. Bye.
Bye.